Hey guys, today I wanted to share a quick tip with you on how to repair your nut slot if they are cut too deep or too shallow. When the nut slot is cut too deep, you're going to get either a completely dead note or unwanted buzzing. This makes the guitar sound like a sitar and has a very unattractive sound to it. So if you don't have time to take it to your tech, or you're just the type that wants to learn how to do all this yourself, I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to do this process. My name is Chris Ellis. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to want to look at is how much space is between the bottom of the string and the top of the fret. To do this, simply press down on the 3rd fret of whatever string you're checking and give a little tap to see how much bounce there is. And as you can tell here, there is no movement indicating that this nut slot is cut too low. So after we've identified which slot or slots are too low, we're going to remove the strings, detune them, and move them out of the way so we can work on this. Once the strings are detuned, move them out of the way and get some low tack tape. We're going to want to place this behind and in front of the nut. So once we have the strings moved out of the way, we're going to want to make sure that our super glue has something nice to bond to. So we're just going to do a couple passes with our nut file in the appropriate slot that we're working on to clear that out a bit. And once that's all cleared up, we're ready to fill the nut slot. To fill this, we're going to use some bone dust, and to apply it, we're going to use cut-off guitar strings. I like to keep as many cut-off guitar strings as I can, as they become very useful for situations like this. So now we're going to start filling the slot with bone dust. And be careful how much you use right up front, because we don't want to be wasteful with any of this. So I like to take out little bits at a time and make sure it's packed in there. Once it's packed in there neatly, we're ready for our super glue, and I like to apply a little bit to the end of a guitar string and drop it in. This eliminates droppings on any other part of the guitar that we're not working on, like the headstock or fingerboard. Once we apply the super glue and we let it dry, we're ready to start sanding any excess on the top of the nut that we might have gotten. You might have to repeat this process a couple times to build up the amount that you want, but just be careful that if your nut height goes too low, then your string won't have a solid foundation to sit into. So make sure you don't oversand the top of this. I'm switching up between 800 and 1000 here. Not taking off much, but once I was done with it, I noticed that this nut is probably at its lowest point, so any other repair might just need a new nut. Once it's sanded and dried, we can then start filing our new nut slot. Be careful with this step, make sure you're going straight and even. Once we have a groove set out, we can then tune our instrument back up. Once we have it tuned back up, we can then check to see how much gap is between the bottom of the string and the 1st fret now. As you can see, there's a little bit of a bounce. So now we can just file this nut down to its correct height. So there you go, you just fixed your first low nut slot. If you're still experiencing some buzzing, go back and make sure that when you file your nut slot that you're going nice and straight. If there are any inconsistencies in the nut slot itself, the string will bind up and go in and out of tune. I hope this was helpful for all of you do-it-yourselfers out there. If this is not something you're comfortable with, no worries, just take it to your local luthier and have them take a look at it. Let me know in the comments how this worked out for you. I'd love to hear your guitar repair stories. My name is Chris Ellis. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you guys soon.